Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we are going to start working on actually bringing some products into our application and also being able to take those products and start adding them into our cart. We haven't built the cart, we haven't built the shop, we don't even have products. But throughout the next series of videos is where we will start tackling that with all of the information and knowledge that we've learned so far, and then flexing them so that we can actually start fleshing out and building some really useful and interesting features. To begin with, let's go back to our application. Here, before we begin with putting any products inside of our database, it's easier if we just mock this data inside of our actual code base directly. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make a new file in the source folder called shopdata.json. And inside, what I want you to do is copy the shopdata.json file from your resources folder and paste it in here. It's really just an array that contains some hats, and it's a pretty simple structure. There's an ID, there's a name, there's an image URL, and then there's a price. These are really what we're going to use to populate out a baseline for our actual shop page. And then from there, we can start actually moving them and reconfiguring them. But what I want to do first is just build in the key functionality before we start worrying about anything more complicated. To begin with, what I'm going to do is first set up an actual shop page. So here inside of routes, I want to make a shop folder. And inside, I'm going to do shop.component.jsx. This shop component is going to replace the current shop temporary component that we've been using. So as far as the shop component goes, what is it really that it's going to be? Well, if you think about it, for now at the very least, I just want to list out all of the different products that are available. So I'm going to say const shop is equal to a functional component. And what I need to do is I need to import in the actual shop data. So I'm just going to directly import it first. I'm going to say import shop data like this, shop_data from, and then let's go up to our actual JSON file, like so. So good thing for us is that with React, it's automatically going to import the entire JSON file and then store it in this data. So here you'll see that it just gives us the array. Now, when I have this shop data, remember, we're just going to try and optimize later. I want to make a div, and inside of this div, for now, all I'm going to do is just say shopdata.map, give me the product, and all I want you to do is just return back a div with an h1, and inside of that h1, I just want to use the actual title value, or the name value, sorry. So let's do ID and name. Let's destructure this off of the product. So let's show the name. And the reason we want the ID, of course, is because we need to provide a key for our map. And then I'm going to export the shop as the default export. And then inside of our app.js, I am going to replace this const shop by importing in shop from the routes/shop/shop component. So now, as you can tell, it's the same name, so it's still rendering. We can save this. Let's go back to our application, and let's go to our shop route. And here we see that our data is rendering in. Awesome. So we have all of our data in here. Now what we want to do is we want to start thinking a little bit more about what it is that we want to do with this shop data. So when we think about an application, chances are the shop data is not going to be hard-coded into the application, but we're doing it for now just to make sure everything works. We're just mocking that data. Eventually, that shop data is probably going to live in our Firebase Firestore. So what we need to do is we need some way of being able to fetch those products down from our outside third-party API And then we want to be able to access it in these different components that need them. Now, doesn't that sound a little familiar to us? This concept of storing this data somewhere. So what we can do is we can start setting up the actual storage using React context, rather than starting to actually set up the call for the data. Just as we did with the user context, we actually set up the actual storage first before we started actually setting up the separate call for that data. So we want to do the same thing. So my challenge to you is to actually build out a similar setup of context using the products. So you can call it product context or products plural context. And then just set it up and make sure that all you're doing is you're using useState in a similar way, but what you're setting is this default shop data. So try that out yourself, and then let's do it together in the next video.